Yemfa da PSA MOBB or the Fidia to a 24 radio and enumere. A bread to send some ACC ewo ye my Ghana mu de yasema ya tunedin trending news no. Yeje brena yede esomo. And then some day ban de dimu akotene ebi NSA. Coronavirus case no say the tia na 80 perform metre active case no na atia bedru 2007. Yade emu ensem ebebremo ene dey nanado danko ekufuadon so a commission 75 greenhouses ewo enkran yade emu ensem ebebremo nanado kirem se ebeboa ama enipa enya adwuma ye ewo oman mu asei.
Some 250,000 young men and women graduate from our tertiary educational institutions annually, with only 2% being absorbed in the formal sector, while the remaining 98%
and then there is a press conference I hold or echo so na ukopiem ewo NDC for Akachia. Director of Elections Edema Mayukui Yera Elvis Efriye Ankra dia tuja say registration call so no title efijas secretary ukopiem ewo sa constituency ho a normal yedigu akwemu say yemfa empanifo a omufie ekosoro no omfa enye registration no wo empanifo a omhwe abato so ewo efijas secretary womo edema minus.
Evidence available to us shows that in the efijas secretary constituency the registration exercise at the district office of the EC, which was reserved for the aged and persons with disabilities, was used to register minors. You have that. You have the photos. Yes. Show them. We have created and then
Sanso enede ukopiem ewo enkran na nye agrokra empanimfo a omhwe adwadie so bomoden ekomontene so kototo Nigeria fo ene ahoho a omwo omam ase won stores a womo ewo titiru woma omanfa mrakwamu enenya stores no na eno ena Emeka Chukwu woye president edema Nigeria fo a omo edidwa ewo omam ase wo sempanimfo ene omo eni no ye.
We task force not to close the shops. We are not resisting them. They fail to communicate with us. They fail to explain to us at length. They have been economical with the truth. They told us, last time we met, they told us to regret.
Sanso ena Yera John Boadu eni abonkomo afam NPP for manifesto emu ensem.
The regional campaign teams in the was all the 16 regions of our country. The Baya could see best a Juada. Now, I inaugurate campaign teams in and then the subcommittees or region. They know we are region for so the guidelines said they are more. Also, by inaugurating campaign teams or constituencies. Now, me that now what is so Ogronikano August 22nd, no 2020. Walk course. Your manifesto. Dr. Baumia,
in some way, any afro pin and then you bring more some way to a donko magic penny. I made a best some more. I fay and some night it told my name no emo entry mo any. Any day, so ube PM or Ghana has ya. Be say abosome miensanum ena coronavirus case no ebi etumi epiem. Some more ka say efri sa abosome no ma bepem ene day any more ka say 13th of August 2020. Say the esi etienie. Empanifo kirem say enipa etimi enya yare yi bie metre coronavirus or Ghana has no 41,725. Now, 41,725 no. Enipa 39,495. Metre pem eduasa enkono. Ahenan ediokono enum. Oma de wo ho efri yare enum. Na wonso a wo saka yare enu bia wantimi amankwam biem no. 223. Ahenu edionu miensa. Omo entimi enya nkwa wa bra yare no ebo womo na wona mprempren a doctor fo ne nurse fo gina womo so na womo hwe se womo eho beto womo amoma ba enkwam biem no ana so omonya ahoden aba be womo enwuma no eye empimie no ene nso me kire 2007 ɛno ɛyɛ amanebɔ a ɛfiri Ghana yɛn health ministry no a yɛn so yɛnya bi ɛde ɛma mo na yɛ breaking it down asɛyi na ɛsitie. Ahafo region ekuta 469 cases. Ashanti region ekuta 10,408 cases. Ashanti region Mpimdu Ahenai Enengoche. Sansuna Bono region ekuta 439. Central region kuta 1,751. Sansuna Savannah Eastern region ekuta 1,991. Greater Accra region kuta 20,824. Northeast ekuta 9 cases. Northern region kuta 454 cases. Oti region kuta 213 cases. Sanso and Savannah region kuta 62 cases. Upper East ekuta 282 cases. Upper West ekuta 88 cases. Volta region kuta 626 cases. Western region kuta 2,829 cases. Western North 580. Eno eye ensema etimi abetodwa ewo honom na che say okane nyina eboma enipa maako 41,725 ena etimi enya yare no bi ewo honom a mpanifo etimi abo omo homoden pa ya enye asemketo akra nipa no 39,495 ena won so won ho ato omo free yare no emu na eno ena nipa 2,000 doctor fo gina won so ena sedem tika kan no nipa 223 ena womo entimi ama womo entimi ama enkwam biem wa bra yare no ebo womo na eno ena ye ne doctor Kuma Abuaje wano ena oye director edema Ghana Health Service no yene no bon komo ebisa ne se ye case no akosi sen
na intermedia sankron mo 495 nine de okron ena omo ato na se se de omo a active case omo a yare no wo virus mo so yeah, the fee so yeah, last I mean I 2007, and that's the it's a pie since the shots they bear now to me the banana bear 4,000 change so the last the last number of new cases is 153. If you bear 11 or so districts, bear 10 districts, so case yeah.
Dr. Kuma Buaje awe director Adema Ghana Health Service sachire mu say Ghana ban any health ministry ne obibia abon humodin ye pa eno na aboa ama say active cases no kwa na eko efom
yare ne ba no sana ne ye no na ye hunu say things to show so na otwi no a mo beto virus ne fi mo so me fama obi. So, na yare no, so yare go a friend say acute yare. That's yare say malaria yewa. Then now water. Yare bi so ha yewa. E show mo sa bia like a teacher yare and answer mujabo so that chronic. Now we na say yare chiwa. Ibi acha na ochi na hoto no. And then na madi panitin hoto mo a. Omo ye ne sa. It's not so say I feel so in the malaria, the malaria Ghana, be 800,000. So you are who are you gonna buy test. So in Chenona dia, in the moment almost so no Ubia so koa was about to Masanya review so far and say police nato Hutowa, and I'll you so long so Ubia, I don't know none of what no coffee, you say no area pa. Maybe I teacher already come home, PPB coming in account now. I should try to take a crab. But I want to me, I take quite an hour to me. If you cry less, none of what to know.
As I say, and no, and some day say 1 hour home at all my Susie or my recover no, and nipa 39,495 no. Obi aniwa wasa kwa yare sabia a doctor for na nurse for HM say yare no eda so ewo ehonom sedem dika kan no dika de abasobo e ma Ghana fo a abrebia no omo ehwe ehun say nose mask no omo ebe she sanso na health protocols ahodo a aban no ene Ghana Health Service e de egu akwan mu no womo ebedi so no ɛno ɛka ho bi ɛna ɛtumi ama yareɛ no kwa na ɛkɔfɔm ɛwɔ hɔnom na ɔbɛsrɛ sɛ Ghanafoɔ ɛmɔmɔ ɛho ɛnyɛ ɔmo dɛ sɛ yareɛ no ɛkɔkora nti saa health protocols aban no ɛne Ghana Health Service World Health Organization so ɛtɛkyire no ɔmo ɛde agu fam a yɛn nyinaa yɛdidi soɔ no yɛbɛkɔ so akɔ soɔ na yɛnyɛ mu anyɛ saa ɔkyena bi yareɛ no bɛsa ama ne homene so
enema miensa omampani ni na ho ene minister so mo am dia boy ni other ministers nya mo na ka ho adwuma yaye ena tichi pa ni a omanfo nso so aye na nse ya shirt se omo she mask ni ajade e hu se mask she no cost fi dia ba cost ya cost bi ku jan ha no pa e ye ba ku jan be se hu se be bi okoya no omo she mask wo pa e be 42%. Or has to move a Janami nominee. And I have to move the Sunday, no, so there. Omo will be a Sambia Shanaboja, another Kata or Shady. Let us say, if you find idea of being Sunday. My imagine on Bessema. And then also Abua, a idea or see Chinasu, MOPI. Society, you know, we pet the Bessina, Yarenio, Asambabio, this uncle, no one person. Elevate by 10, now in the upper 10, now post review. In the mask, boy, you who say a boapa or moshe. A sansu call a jumbimu, so a coffee. A jumi and Sawonka, Malata, Makola, Abugrushi, and Kanishi. Or share a more moshe mask. And also so bad, you are 990, no moshe mask. 44%, you have to move your 990. And 37% are high to what you are also. And yet, no share more mask in the other. Shall about your natural on Catana on shade. And I bear 18% or high to more Japan and almost shady. As Sergeant, your person to be a Ediswa. I got boy to the Arian says, and then maybe. Some men may find you. You, the name of Potomia. Shall I Arianico? And you know, in your mouth one in your private protocol on some folklore. Any mask wearing, very idea here, pa. Now, it didn't say, air cost room, Yare never full. The best to be a moment, I say. Ancient mask will be able to be a ancient mask, Nona, in Timbuana, Yare so much.
And all a opening contract for our Ghana Health Service. Dr. Kuma Abuaje and Yeten in Kano Efa Dientia Ghana Yesusu say active cases and now one Dr. Fojina also a washer or more coronavirus or sono echo a form no and Yeten in Kanwa Brawane a 24 radio AD and Komono. Now ebe konsenfo from o say konsenfo from a ene day ukopiem e won kran na nya asem keto akra do henya wo Greater Accra mantam no mu eho ena ene abrewayi apomakwan ma Ghana ban His Excellency Nana Addo Dankwa Akufo-Addo timiko bie 75 greenhouses ano ewo enkran do henya honom na enum ena aban kasa na o chirem se sa dwumade yi ebetimi aboa pa ebeboa ama Ghana yetimi aproduce be 4,500 tons of tomatoes yebetimi enya ewo sa dwumade num sanso ena o chirem se ebetimi aboa ama Ghana yetimi enya sika be million edubaako enye afibia no yenya kra no enye million edubaako osanso chirem se adwuma ya bayi ebesa aboa ama Ghana fo asenya adwuma pa eya enya asem ketwa.
From this farm are being sold at ShopRite, Farmers Market, Eden Tree, amongst other places. This is highly commendable, and I say a big aiko to all those involved in this project. Ladies and gentlemen, this greenhouse initiative, as I've already stated, is an integral part of the program for planting for food and jobs. So I urge the Ministry of Business Development to continue to collaborate effectively with the Ministries of Food and Agriculture and of Environment, Science, Technology and Innovation to enhance the prospects of success of this venture. Let me reiterate the government's policies such as the program for planting for food and jobs, free senior high school, one district, one factory, and the National Entrepreneurship and Innovations Plan are aimed at mainstreaming the country's youth into national development.
Nana said the way it was so.
That some 250,000 young men and women graduate from our tertiary educational institutions annually, with only 2% being absorbed in the formal sector, while the remaining 98% seek employment in the informal sector or remain unemployed. A pastoral response to this has been the establishment of the Nation Builders Corps, NABCO, which has provided jobs for 100,000 unemployed graduates. We are on course to remedying the situation more permanently and creating greater opportunities for the youth by building a strong and resilient economy with a focus on diversifying Ghanaian agriculture, adopting value addition activities, and promoting industrialization with digital services, which are the driving forces for innovation, higher productivity levels, and job creation. The World Bank estimates that agriculture and agribusiness together could command a $1 trillion United States dollar presence in Africa's continental economy by the year 2030.
Ghana Mampeni, His Excellency Nana Addo Dankwa Akufo-Addo na yetene no. Na enrada ena Franka Tufo Edema NDC Amanyukio, His Excellency John Dramani Mahama, wanini tuapemu Professor Jean Nana Opoku Ajiman, eko kopiemu ewo enkran National Chief Imam Asweye, sanso ena wadineni echre clergy anasa asofofo ewo omemu hasei, edo neni tuapemu kochre no se, Mami Jane ena waboni din se ode no etu Franka Adema NDC Amanyukio no, to osra nsem enhyira na wo fridge medie no ase na one nsem kyerefo ekasae ne nkasae mu na o kyerem se normal enkoye ewo free education no ho kra normal enkoye na ansa na yebeko free education mu nsem no osade tuja se sanso na asofofo titiri wo ma omoba abonten bekasa na ase aban a otiso yi e ka won kasaboa ehye aban na ka won kasaboa ehye nti wo mo entimi emma abonten emma mekasa na eno ene ensem a asofofo no etimi edito nanim yentie yen papa His Excellency John Dramani Mahama.
Receive complaints from men of God to call government to order, and it's unfair treatment and sometimes targeted attacks on them for speaking out against injustice. You do not send party apparatchiki to rain insults and terror on people who hold views that you do not find complementary to government. When the appointing authority turns a blind eye to persecution, it only emboldens certain elements working for government to extend their terror to others.
Na asofofo a beba abonten aka bibi afa aban na mamuo se anye aban ne da na chese aban na chitafo ene aban mu mpanimfo atanie nko a na yede ema asofofo yi wasanso kan bibi se oba free education no oba beshem kena amankora no ye trenso hwe a won say yes wamo tre na omofo mo ni ento aposo na pono feri a ye di mpanimfo atem.
Improve the free SHS so that our children will not think that it's an entitlement for them to cheat in exams. If you prepare the children well, they are not going to fight with an invigilator because he's preventing them from cheating in exams.
Eno AF Ghana ye mampeni dada His Excellency John Dramani Mahama ena yetene nkano nitu apemu Professor Nana Jane Opoku Ajiman enso editu dwa se mmofra ya womo etwere wasin sori a womo di nsem didi mpanifo atem se womo apo womo entwere no eno so eha adwene pa.
This country, children normally come from exam and say, yeah, it was a hard paper. But when? What was the last time ever that we saw so many children in so many schools misbehaving because the paper was hard? So what is going wrong? That is a record we need them to come and defend.
Nensrasha enrada His Excellency the former President John Dramani Mahama and then Pemu Professor Jean Nana Opoku Ajiman Kokopi so press conference ahodo eba so NPP and NDC nsemia na de edi kan no NDC for na ehase da bia ne da e free set registration ehase de da bia om hyansem trefo de om hawo eto om anim na enedan so eba so ewo enkranmantam num na no na director of election Edema NDC Amanyukio no yera Elvis free ankran so hyansem trefo na odene hawo eto won anim de di kan no wo kirem se efija sechere ehonom constituencies no emu baako yisi boss or honom ebo ne ho moden pa ani nyina ene sen yema mpanimfo a wo anya 50 years kwan say omo de sembe a omuntimi nkodi line tenten no ombetimi akọ yisi office na omakọ akọchire omuden na no na free ankrase sa the brain I dey to man penifo no koba ne say yisi boss awo afija sechere wo no wode man penifo say wode man kwara wo enya 18 years so omo na emra emechire wondin so bo foforo sa boye ene say e wo afija sechere wo na no osa echire mu say yisi boss ho na obeye na juma no watra letter tenten ede akoma amra se bejani a wo afija sechere ho no se o kosuhu e wo KNUS nti ono omra no omeboa no sei e na Elvis free ankra e kan nsem.
Evidence available to us shows that in the Efija Secretary East constituency, the registration exercise at the district office of the EC, which was reserved for the aged and persons with disabilities, was used to register minors. You have that. You have the photos. Yes. Show them. We have and then again we have credible and incontrovertible evidence that the district electoral officer for Secretary South, by name Madame Emilia Anderson, applied to the MP, the sitting member of Parliament, who is an MPP MP, in a letter dated 7th March 2020 for financial assistance of an amount of 14,000 cedis to support her in pursuing a master's degree program at the Kwame Nkrumah University of Science and Technology. So while registration was going on, the officer was applying to the sitting MP for support 14,000. We have the letter. Have you put paper no, have you seen it? Honorable Member of Parliament, the Fija Secretary, Ashanti. Dear Madam, application for financial assistance. I approach your food office to come to my aid by supporting me financially through my fees of 14,000 to pursue my master's program in the public administration at Prayer University. I am close the admission letter and fees for your necessary action. Thank you for your cooperation. It's your official.
Eno Elvis free ankra. Director of Elections at the NDC Amayuki no wasan so kire mu say sa voters registration exercise course so ya treasure amanfo din ohwe say aban no any yisi in particular electoral commission no ebehwe na omapa ba asomfo bi na omo edi djuma na omo yi wona yesusu say wo munya mfie du nwotwe edin free esa enkrata no sanso na obehwe say wonso a womo eye ahoho womo free Ghana ha womo atimi bo womo modern etwere won din no so bo no de abo NPP for na basomfo no enso emoa na yenyi won so edin free register no.
The compilation of a new register only to turn around and to open the border for Ivorians to enter and register. If this is not hypocrisy, then I don't know what it is. Having been exposed, John Boyd, my friend and General Secretary of the MPP, and the MPP shamelessly called a press conference to accuse the NDC for a crime that they, the MPP, committed, where there was overwhelming evidence. We wish to assure the people of Ghana that we shall pursue this matter to its logical conclusion. We are calling on the Electoral Commission to thoroughly investigate how persons whose eligibilities were challenged found their ways of obtaining their voter ID cards without going through the adjudication process. We are calling for the prosecution of all the MPP and EC officials who connived to commit this grievous crime. The names of all the 66 Ivorians must be deleted from the register immediately.
Eno Director of Elections dema NDC Amanyuki no na eno openia wono so odijuma oda jumedi awdo ano edema EC no owura ye frɛ no Serebo Kweku ono so kire mu se ensem no bi ewo ho no ma se dom di ka kan no ninyi ano no de obeka ene se ekopeba asomfo ban biem if you say easy for na nkasa nso ya nra no ekirem se omo de omo ho omo betimi aye omo djuma na se yekofa ba asomfo bi na omo beka easy for no ho na omo eye omo djuma na se sebi nyame mpenwu no ma antimi ankoyi a na ye de sobo no ebebo easy for ana se ye de ba bebo ba asomfo na ye bepa wo omo no ama omo aye adjuma no o kirem se enoma eto chemade nanso se do di ka kan no wo mo meeting a wo eye omo hia nsɛmtwerɛfoɔ enranda no obesa kan biem sɛ list abay provisional na no na yisi no betena se no omo de ese efata na Ghana fo nyina omo qualify so omo to aba omo edin wom no ebeba abonten nti nsɛm bi sei no se no mrika kan no mpanifo no bi wo NDC amayokio no ma eba se nhyiamu no womo enso etena mu bi ekasa eno nti omo betu anamon no omo aye ba bi eto chema a omo hu se no mrika kan na enu ase enkora omo ni mfie edunwotwe ene ahwo edin ewo list no na register no omo bebo moden na omo yi won edin every register no na eno ena ochire mu se exhibition also ebekoso na se prempre ya no ye yin mofra ana se won a yesusu se omonya 18 years edin efrim na se oba card kuta no na eso ye yin din efrim a eno so ye asem kese ena ebeba eno nti emre wo ye nim no ombeba omo moden no omo dijuma se ne be ya voters register no emu ebeti wan Director of Electoral Commission on Services and wabo on your bon komo yewra Srebo Kweku.
Calculating based on the end of day report. So the data will be in the system and to be exported. So if I'm doing the calculation and I make a mistake, when the data hits the data center, the figures will come up. And the most important thing is that once you are doing registered, you will be given an ID card. You will have an exhibition. So if you are doing that, and if you think the commission decides to remove you, on the doing exhibition period, you come with the ID card, and you will be exposed. So nobody in the electoral commission will be interested in suppressing any figure or disenfranchising anybody.
Eno director edema Electoral Commission on Services on Jumedi ahodo mu no ena yete nenka efa sa ensem no eho na eno enton chen no mpanifo pi ena esa ekire omo adwene efa ho director of obi a oye onipa wono so ototo no ma efa abato ho edema NPP amanyuku no wono so ekasai na okire mu se NDC for kasa na ena womo ekasa na sene opani edika kan no omo ebo omo homodin bia dwumadi no ebehya ase no omo de betu dwa se omo enkyere omudin saa ena yeniti na omo nkura na edikan ewo honom a omo ekyere omudin sanso ena dwumadi ahodo pi wo honom a omaka na so bewie mu no na omo na edikan a omo ekyere na yentie yewura nimako ewo edinchura ekoso no ho wono ena oye director edema NDC NPP Mr. Meka ekuyo no eba abato eswa.
Part of it is being done at the district level, so we have the district adjudication committee, and part of it also is at the national level where the deduplication is being done. The deduplication is mainly an issue of people who have done multiple registrations, either by event of accident or intentional. And so a team has been set up, and that's what is happening. The case of the adjudication at the district level, that is where challenges that were reported, filled by parties at the registration centers are being adjudicated. And so, for instance, in Kepos North, where our agents realized that the NDC parliamentary candidate has supplied false information to secure the voter ID, it was challenged. And at the district adjudication level, the ID card was taken away from him. So that is that stage. And I have difficulty with Mr. Fianca that at this stage he cannot bring himself to appreciate the levels of training or the processes that the registration exercise will have to go through. That when the EC has established a national adjudication committee, you are now calling for an independent body to audit the register. It is in the same vein that they were calling on the EC to engage them to audit figures whilst registrations were ongoing. A 36-day registration exercise followed by 2-day mop-up while the processes are ongoing, NDC calling for an audit. I mean, it amazes me. The issue of a visa section and then offensive, EC came out to say that their officers were giving accumulative figures and they corrected them. NDC has constantly been calling this that figures are.
Yera Evans Nimakon, Director of Elections, the NPP, the ruling party, one on a 10 yanu ya wadema a free year and crano. Na yadaso Electoral Commission anyone register on sensemu. Na openia where science lecturer University of Ghana. Yera Dr. Alidu Seidu, also Eddie Atuja say, a bad challenge forms are ye filling out. Say ye be ye amanfo a yesusu se omunye mfie edunwoche edin every register no enye ejimake akra. Say ye be we bi beba say makora we de wanya edunwoche na say ejuma no eye ejuma bia ena form yentie Dr. Alidu Seidu
by the Electoral Commission to help conduct the registration process. We're actually helping in some of these things that happened. Now the vouching process, just 2 registered citizens can vouch for another person to register. How do you determine the nationality of the person that they are vouching for? We know there were people who got the Ghana card and perhaps they were not Ghanaians and they have been able to register with that particular card. How do you determine whether you can only determine that they have been able to register by using the Ghana card? But how do you determine whether they are citizens or not? Once they have the Ghana card, it is assumed that they are citizens. But 3, there were deliberate attempts in some circumstances by political party agents to challenge people that they believe are likely going to vote in a certain way. So, for example, maybe if I assume that you are a northerner or you are from Zongo or you are this, the assumption is that you are likely going to vote this, or if you are an Ever or Akan or this, you are likely going to vote this way. So people actually look at people's names or their appearances and deliberately challenge them, not because they have evidence to show that they are Ghanaians or they are not Ghanaians. So it takes a very delicate process to be able to tell apart people who were mischievously challenged by virtue of the fact that the challenger assumed because of their identity, they will be voting a certain way, and people who were genuinely challenged simply because they were not Ghanaians. So it is a serious kind of scrutiny that goes into determining of those who have been challenged, determining which of them are Ghanaians.
Dr. Alidu Seidu, a political science lecturer at University of Ghana, and yete in Kano. Osanso hremu se e was stakeholders ni nyina omo nya ntiase na omo ebo omo modern na omo boa hisi no na otimi boa ema register no clean
back to IPAC or whatever platform that they're going to meet political parties and then address this issue of what the procedure that has been circumvented, undermined, or for whatever reason that contributes to people having to doubt the integrity of the election. Civic bodies, there have been a lot of support and suggestions and advice from civil society organizations in the run-up to this exercise. But largely most of them were ignored or at best were not heeded too. Civic bodies play specific role in shaping our democratic dispensation. They will have to speak to them on the way forward and what should be done. They will also have peace stakeholders, the National House of Chiefs, the National Peace Council, and even we citizens. We are all stakeholders to having a stable, peaceful, democratic state where we can all live and achieve our desired aspirations and live meaningful lives. So at the end of the day, I think the EC alone cannot carry this particular exercise of cleaning the voters register with complete disregard to stakeholders of the electoral processes, but also agents, beneficial agents of the electoral processes. So they will have to meet and then outline the kind of procedural breaches that might have occurred and that has led to our current situation, and then seek advice on how we can go about doing it. I know the EC, the Constitution says that in the conduct of their business, they should not seek direction or adhere to suggestions and other things from other people. They are independent minded. But I also believe that when you get to certain level of contestations or certain level of certain states in your conduct of your businesses, it is not a bad thing to have a stakeholder meeting and then seek suggestions. They have done that in the past through IPAC and some of the suggestions that have come that they think can better enhance their work. They have accepted them. So
Dr. Ali Duseidu, a political science lecturer. Na Patrick Stevenson, also a researcher Edema Imani Ghana, also eba yen policies a bunch share or mem has here wamo a bomb modin yepa, one also the nano eto and seminum and our old say Osha yisi wamojuma or more aya Casabebre asa abahwa. Not just say data or more a year, say a more quine or more enfa enco onko voters register for frono and no kamia is omo juma na omo aye no aye waste aye jumahunu ena omo aye na che say obi a wo say voters register yi mofra anam omo eni fie edungotwe edin ewom na koye register for front so still womo edin ewom yentie Patrick Stevenson, researcher Edema Imani Ghana.
I dare say it's a joke, because when people challenge, the nationality of a citizen, I think that there are only two ways that goes. Either the person is indeed a citizen or is not. You cannot, as a commission, say before even the process begins that you can read the 37,000 people of the register. Indeed, what I know, and some individuals who have been challenged that I am familiar with, have all come out clean, right? And the processes by which some of those challenge, procedures were even initiated. We saw some of these videos and some of these engagements on social media. A lot of it was not through legitimate processes. People were, almost harassing individuals who came to register. We equally have, video evidence of people filling up, some of these guarantee forms up front, and keeping them for people who show up and didn't have whether the Ghana card or passport to get registered, to just sign them up. So people typically are on this register today, have guarantors who have signed, and guaranteed the funds for them that they don't know. Right? That's the implication of that narrative. How's a commissioner going to find those people and bring them to book if somebody doesn't challenge? And the argument is that when that challenge comes, they can rid them off. They can't, unless they have gone through and exhausted the process. Then they will determine who's legitimate or who's not. So it's possible that all 37,000 people will be squeaky clean. It's possible.
Patrick Stevenson, a researcher at the Imani Ghana, one also nene ena yete Same Ewuku eye NPP, one national organizer. Na ene omonso eye NPP for eye nsemtrefo enhyiamu na enhyiamu no mu na wonya akwanya se okasa ne nkasa emu na ochirem se Yewura His Excellency the former President John Dramani Mahama waba beye bi eko na woba se yensa mana akwanya na onfa efa toso mienu no enhyehye so na eno na Same Ewuku echirem se Yewura John Dramani Mahama woni ane papa bia de ma Ghana biem nti Ghana for haye ho Ghana for ha omo ho ensanto aba emfa ma Yewura John Dramani Mahama nkasa yemu sei na osi eka no.
He has no vision for you and I. Let us start with last week. Candidate John Dramani Mahama of the National Democratic Congress announced confidently, after pocketing his new voters' ID, that Ghanaians will vote for him on December 7th. For him to come back to continue with the good work he was doing before he was voted out on December 7, 2016,
That pronouncement, ladies and gentlemen, shows candidate Mahama as a candidate who has completely lost touch with his own track record, and a candidate who is not in touch with the realities of the people whose votes he seeks. It also shows that he cannot really decide for himself and whether indeed he did well or badly as president, because he had admitted after losing 2016 that he had committed several mistakes while in office. Perhaps we should begin by reminding ourselves what he said about himself in his own autobiography. My first coup d'etat, published in 2012. In the last page of the book, he writes, "All decisions I have made in my life were regularly plagued with doubt. It can be challenging to sustain that feeling of hope or the belief that things will turn out for the best. Again and again, I have felt like that boy Dramani on the bicycle going downhill, fast without any brakes, and not knowing which way to turn." In his mind, it appears that candidate Mahama is still on that bicycle without brakes, and he's still going downhill, not knowing which way to turn. But should he be allowed a second time to ride Ghana on this dangerous bicycle without brakes and going downhill into the ditch? His political life is rife with evidence that apart from being a smooth talker with silver tongue, John Mahama is not a man that we can trust to be of conviction, vision, and competence.
Eno Same Ewuku, National Organizer Edima NPP Amayuku no. Eno ena ne Secretary John Bodo nso de atoja se NPP Amayuku no bonsra ewo won manifesto a womo eba beye no nyame adoma memenda ebe ni na ochwe nti 16 regions no omo bekomu nyina ansana nyame adoma memenda ebe na ochwe dwumedie no Ashasie ana ashiseso ewo Cape Coast. Say no can nsem.
The regional campaign teams in the Ebeye was all the 16 regions of our country. Ebeye could see best Edwada na ya inaugurate campaign teams in and the subcommittees or region. No, we are reaching for so the guidelines that they are more. Also by inaugurating campaign teams or constituencies. Now memenda ebe now what so Obronika August 22nd 2020 Cape Coast your manifesto Dr. Baumia Eda manifesto committee na no and the members Omatro manifesto no ewie emunsem enya sekito akra.
Eno yewra John Bodo ena yete ne ewo eho no na yewram ewo enkran biem eho ena ne dai enkran mantam nim na nya asem keto akra. Ministry of Trade and Industry one na pamfo omo ebowra enkran montene so omo ko miamia bi etese omo ko miamia awodo bi etese Opera Square Zongo Lane ena afi Kantamanto Ninyina ene sen omu esusu se amanfo bi efri miamia omu fri oman foforo mu aba womo edi edwa ne dwa na omu die no nso womo amfa emra kwan mu nti ene Ghana aban titru asoye ehwe edwadie so ene enyuma eso etimi ebo moden ekonkran montren so ekoto stores be se wo ha omu susu se womo eye foreigners edia na enum ena ama amanfo nso adwalai pa ye titru yenuanom Nigeria fo omodwalai pa na eno ena ye ne president edema Nigerian Traders Association yene no ebon komo yewra emeku chuku Emeka Chukwu Mesrameka Emeka Chukwu ebo nkomo ena o kyerɛ mu sɛ anamo mpanimfo edi yi asɛ enokre bi anhyeda na di ne nyina ne sɛn mpanimfo anhyeda amɔ ɛho dawuro anka nkyerɛ wɔn ɛno nti ɛna ɛkɔba ne sɛ nhyehyɛeɛ mpanimfo susu sɛ wɔn a wɔn mfiri Ghana ha se a wɔn edi edwa wɔ ha sei no retailers wɔn stores ahodoɔ no yɛatotom ɛnɛ sɛyi ɛna Emeka Chukwu ɛne yɛbɔ nkɔmɔ.
The task force not to close the shops. We are not resisting them. They failed to communicate with us. They failed to explain to us at length. They have been economical with the truth. They told us, last time we met, they told us to regularize our documents, which we did. More than 90% of our members have done that. And they told us they are coming today to check and then how many people that have complied. That is the information they gave us today, the previous day before coming today.
Eno president edema Nigeria Traders Association one Febia ewo Ghana ena yene no ebo enkomo no na eno ena yewra Emeka Chukwu esa echire mu se mpanifo ebo omoden se omone Ghana fo ebebo enkomo Ghana mpanifo bebo enkomo na afi omobie ekwan atum amomo etimi edi won edwa entiase ebeye ejuma afi no obia atene ho ase na edwadie no etimi ato aso sei na Emeka Chukwu ezade to ye nanim.
Check. The clock everybody's shop so far you are a Nigerian in that circle. Yes. But I mean, we have the record. We have the record here with us. Negotiating with them because we didn't know that they are coming to lock the shops. We didn't know. They told us, they gave us wrong information that they are coming to check. So we forced our members, they must comply to this, that. We urged them, and they tried. Everybody, some people went and borrowed money to pay. After doing all this, you come and lock the shops like that.
Eno Emeka Chukwu, the president edema Nigerian Traders Association one fa ewo Ghana ena yete ye no na ye sorry adwumadie no so ye sorry emfa arehusemi en sorry ena dai arehusema yete efree ejoso osofo a wo Jehovah Nisi wo ejoso na so ye ene se opani a ye friend Maxwell Atakra ono na ye sofo yi onya mfie aduanan enan ne nyina ene se nifi a ewo santase enyinam new site akronfo ebowura ho ne nyina omukuta etuoko akora no bo mekire am robbers ena gebowura ne fie ne nyina mu no wana one wo modeda ho no ena wotiamu ese akronfo abo nse no mienu bre ena mpanifo etimi akronfo etimi bo epie mu na akronfo ebo pie mu no na sofo igina ne naso dendenden a obo mpaye odima amanfo ena ohun akronfo ya wotiamu sa akronfo na eno ena akronfo yi aposifo kire se omo ebo omo homoden a senka omo beko na omo akope bibi age efri wona wo sa bia ye ho na enso omo anya hwe enfri mu no ena asofo a wote won to se kronfo no obo ni tio eku no omo moda ho no ebo omo modin bia sen empreso e course no enkombeje papa yi enkwa na enso etu a yedebo papa yi wentimi ama enkwam biem na eno ena omo kirem se akronfo yi mienu ene ba ya omo susu se omo wo omo fie ebe aduo no 20 years mu ena omo di omo hye max a omo bedi sa adwuma no na yire ene de asemi eto edwa na yire ekirem se opani etiema na enso boafo ewo henfa ekire ya omobae no na kyese enoma etimi agensemo a enye asemketo akra na yire ekire mu se opani a ye friend Maxwell Atakra a onye mfie aduanan a woye sofo ewo Jehovah Nisi ewo ejoso asantimantem ha sei no woko edie nanso ohwe se aposifo ede no mabegu akwanmu na omo etimi ahwehwe wo ma omutimi bedi awurikasemi ede ama wo mu sei na eno na police pani a ono ohwe no tonkra ede ma asantimantem ha sei aposifo me director of public affairs owo asantimantem ha sei police ASP Godwin Ahianyo enso edi ato edwa se omo eguso a eye nhwehwemu ehwe se wo mo di awurikasem no aposifo betimi aso mu asem no kasa yi de aposifo enyanchi obi biara efa wona wodi awurikasem no nanso nhwehwemu guso a ekoso a emrepem no Ghana for ebete wona wodi awurikasem no se yache wo mo yenyina arehosemi so na yemfa ene trending news no ensi ehase nyame ya adoma ochina de akam bia no ye de beba besomo ote se NDC for press conference and then some outdoor atruja efa voters registration a course so so sanso NPP for so press conference no be almost den sempi atruja na nado danko akufo ado akwa be 75 greenhouses no as said ye wakokwa humam say kim sha ase na edijuma sa enso ena ote se yewra His Excellency the former president John Dramani Mahama enso ene chief imam ene asofo for mo ewo Ghana haze ekoko shiaye na oditu dwa se oba free education no oba be shem kina yemfa ensem no ensi ase nyame admo china ye beba beto aso medin ede Edward Donko makramo
we dey na minkwa dante na minje odonido adipa shodom we senyu weda minkwa irangwa na minje otobiye otobata fatia nkrume otobiye every beer member kromano sa station we ya na metie enti osofo afidie ne to a ne tie be wate data kennedy makram
I went to for radio. Papa Smiley, I went to speak my one more. I went to for radio. I put to 77 put the man on you. I went to for radio. Papa Smiley, I went to speak my one more. You know, he goes by the name Papa Smiley and got the vibes that will make you feel irate. Tune in and stay tuned to Bamaso. It's a party the king Smiley. Nana walk so. Yo, on in Nanka Saturn and Web. Napam phone so reborn Chidom from Monday to Friday, 3 to 7 p.m. Tune into Bamaso on a 24 radio. Yo, 24 radio. I put to 77 put the man on you. I went to 4 radio. Papa Smiley, I went to speak my one more. I went to 4 radio. I put to 77 put the man on you. I went to 4 radio. Papa Smiley, I went to speak my one more. Yo, from here to foreign, you give us a reason to listen to radio. Papa Smiley, a nyabo.
Eye pamaso. And Penisa, yes, Sumanian Sophonia, Sumana Montenten, and no confess a crumwa or Timubi. Could see the Papa Smiley and the bed of Fatanasi. Obedu chum, my moon some, a man woman some, and in some polo. No mercy for the cripple.